Bills fans. Oh, yeah. My hair's actually calmed down right now because it was up. Like I had stuck my finger in an electric socket from last week to the first quarter. Well, first quarter and a half of this game, it just was the same thing. It's like, okay, gonna start off shooting ourselves in the foot right away. Right away. Okay, let's get the ball. I'm all for giving the. I'm all for getting the ball. Bills have shown they can drive down, score touchdowns. Nope. Same thing as last week. Only last week, second possession. This week, the first one. Give a team a gift. Turnover in your end. Balls in the end zone. I think a possession or two later, after a 3 and out. Oh, Singletary fumbles. I believe that's what, a field goal. That was a field goal. And it just got to the point where I'm like, we're just in the gift giving season early. We're just out there just being a charity. And last week was the same thing. I want to explain last week. Eric already knows my temper, unfortunately. I misfired with my my trusty empty water bottle. I hit my computer monitor and I didn't realize that this could do so much damage. It cracked the pixels and it bled, and I was like, fuck. So yeah, not happy. And I also knew the narrative that was going to come out after that Miami game. It's going to be like, oh, Miami's a new kid on the block, Bills or whatever. They then the one score game thing. That narrative was all week. And just and it's like the national media and to a lesser extent some of the local people, they talk as if we didn't watch the same game. Dude, I think it was, yeah, only mine came like 3-4 hours later. Like in the moment I threw it on the ground like I'm supposed to. I like that's the I throw it on the ground, but I threw it like that and it. So I was fucking. The national media talks and acts like we didn't watch the game, like we didn't watch the Bills go down with a slew of injuries, dehydration, just you name it. Came into the game with a paper thin roster as it was, a mash unit, and still all of that only to have lost by 2. You spend whistle to whistle shooting themselves in the foot from just gifting them a first and goal on the second possession after you go down and score a touchdown, giving up a 3rd and 22 that turns into a touchdown. Just different things like that. The field goal miscues at the end of the half, the snap that was, I don't know, Bassett was blocked, a drop touchdown by Gabe Davis, you name it. And it just was a continuation today. And given the weather, I was just like, man, this is going to turn into a bloodbath quick. And thankfully they held it together, stabilized at halftime with 10-20. I'm like, okay, as we all said, okay, Baltimore's getting the ball. They need to stop this team. And they did, got a field goal, kind of exchanged a few possessions there. Then eventually, there's so many plays baked in to the game, and I just got to start taking hats off to guys right away. Matt Milano, man, what a game. That guy basically just sent himself to the Pro Bowl off of one game. Insane. Yeah, that was, there was so many things last week, dude. When you have Christian Wilkins coming down, headhunting on people that are held up. And like this league says it's about player safety and everything like that. And I see that, yeah, he becomes a runner. But when you got a 300-pound guy launching from a back angle at a guy's head, and he clearly speared him, he left his feet to hit him in the head. And it's just like, it's kind of like a whatever. And then Knox goes down because of cramps I was like, how is this guy not like laying up looking at the lights right now, like wondering what year it is? All the shit, fucking Wilkins just officially became, after last week. Hey, what's up, dude? How you hanging down there in Puerto Rico, man? Everything good? You guys hanging tough? But grabbing Josh's junk down in the pile, no flag there, a reactionary flag to it. Just so many things last week pissed me off. And that just kind of like went by the wayside when it came to analyzing the game throughout the week. The whole Tua situation, we all know what a catastrophe that was from word go, and how it ended up on Thursday is of their own doing. Sorry that they made their bed with that one, and that was ugly. And that genius darling head coach is culpable. Their shitty organization is culpable. Chris Greer, who's been in there. That's good, bro. That's awesome, bro. Good to hear, Francisco. It was just so frustrating to watch last week. And I just was sitting there just rehashing all that stuff in my head, and just there went the bottle. And I just didn't realize how much force I threw it. And then fast forward to this week, I'm like, I was just numb. I was like, this is like Groundhog Day. Can't complete a pass. Offense is not in rhythm. Last week we could complete a pass. We just couldn't finish a drive. It was just so frustrating. And then once the game got stabilized and just we're able to just start getting the ball down the field a little bit, we had receivers go down again. McKenzie went down with a concussion. Even though I saw him, the Bills put out a couple of videos. He was running around in the back. He looked alert. He looked good. He was celebrating with his team. Defense has been amazing. I don't want to hear anybody talk about a better defense than this. This defense, with the players that it's missing, the caliber of players that are missed, and the production that it's getting through. I'm not 1 through 46. I'm going to say the production they get 1 through, 68, 70 with the practice squad. Jamarcus Ingram, Prince Emili, Brandon Bryant, you name it. You got great depth when you're upset about Christian Benford going down with a fractured hand early in the game last week. That's how good your depth was. And then, this week, Khalil Shakir was the man on point, stepping up, made a few huge catches for Josh, especially that one on the scramble, and made a guy miss in space, picked up the first down. He also made another nice play for Josh, and just really, really, really happy that he finally got on the field, was able to produce, because the talent's there, and this team's good at it. And I can't wait for them to find a role for Cook. But Singletary, after the fumble, was able to, give them some productive downs. The 16-yard screen at the near the end of the game was massive, because that put the ball, you're very confident at that point Bass could just knock it in, even though it would have been about a 35-yarder. You're very confident he could hit it in. And once they got it down after that next run to the 2nd and 2 right outside the goal line, I was like, okay, this is a chip shot. This is a chip shot. Yeah, Hodgins might be up next week, Eric. That's right. You have hopefully McKenzie is able to make it back. He looked, again, this is just from the cursory eye test. I'm no doctor, neurologist. He was running around alert in the back with his team, congratulating them as they came back. He's it's like when I saw Ryan Bates out there Thursday or Friday, he was out there. I think it was Thursday. He was out there. And just, I'm like, okay, he's in the practice setting. He's doing drills. So he's close. And I was just glad there was the situations in the game that just seemed to always bite the Bills. There was some short yardage situations, third and short situations that were botched. And once the comeback was on, and then Poyer got the first interception at midfield, I'm like, this is it. This is it. This is how you steal possessions, and you finally you steal this game from the jaws of defeat, and they go 3-and-out, and I think I was more livid at them going 3-and-out after the Poyer turnover than I was being down 17-3. I was, or I'm sorry, 20-3. I was just so fucking furious. I was just like, you're kidding me, right? You got a prim opportunity, even if you just nick a field goal there, give the ball back to Baltimore, and then they go on a drive, like a hellacious drive. They're going, and I don't know if I'm the only one that saw this. How many holding calls did the Baltimore offensive line get away with today? The one pass to Dobbins, 20 yards. Jackson's getting like horse collared by I forget who, but he was just getting horse. I'm like, he's being held. Even on the Poyer interception in the end zone, Shaq Lawson's getting held by Falele. It was like, where's the laundry? And then, so when Boger threw the flag on the Josh roughing the passer, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, so what? Baltimore's been getting away with shit all game, holding guys. And the defense, notice the defense changed. The tenor of the game changed when the Bills defense decided just to go after him and say, you know what? We trust our guys in the back ends. Once he has to come off his primary, he starts doing this. He brings the ball down and starts going like this. He'll hurt you. He'll decompress you. He did the Bills with some runs today, but they got him when they needed to. They got him when they needed to, and Bowman the fourth quarter. They finally the fourth quarter though, they got it, and that's what they needed. Yeah, two guys were being held on the end. Yeah, I saw I just saw Lawson, and then they got free. He got free, and they just, Jackson just went back, and then he was late getting the Duvernay, who was wide the fuck open. He was wide open, and Jackson's a good quarterback. Most of what the defense responds to with him is his ability to run. And if you make him have to make fundamental quarterback decisions, if he's not throwing a deep ball to Bateman or, dinking and dunking to Andrews, I'm sorry, like $144, they held him to 120-yard play. And the 20-yard play was that crazy ass broken, what was it, a second and 19, a third and 19 to Duvernay when it was like 3 Bills. The ball got tipped around. Andrews was there. That could have been picked. And then Duvernay just grabs it and runs for an extra 4. Yeah, that was the only play that they gave up 20 plus yards all game. I don't want to hear about a Bateman injury. Bills were down. We know Gabe is not 100%. Knox, is struggling out there, but there's an unsung hero right there, because the one conversion, or he got it down near the goal line to give the Bills a good down and distance situation. Josh ends up scrambling, runs it in on the keeper, and then the 20-yarder on the 3rd and 3 on the final drive, when Josh puts it in between 3 defenders on the Bills sideline, is an amazing throw and catch, because it's wet out there, it's slick. He's being asked to block. He's, you see a lot of Morris splitting with him a little bit. They seem to trust him a lot more than they trust Tommy Sweeney, which is saying something. So they really, that outside of the injuries, Crowder was seen in a boot and crutches, so he's obviously down, um, likely an IR situation. Uh, I give a lot of props to Shakir, for field in the punts, making the catches, his taking the most of his opportunities because they were big. They were big. When he came up, his number was called. Those were big time moments, and he delivered. So hats off to him. Uh, Even Singletary rebounded from the fumble in the fourth quarter, made some solid runs, some solid catches. Um, I didn't see Moss. I didn't see him get one carry. Uh, if he did, it was just one because the game was so nip and tuck. Allen took over with his legs with some great runs, some really great runs. And there's another thing that pisses me off when these two quarterbacks are talked about. It makes me sound like an asshole. But like, how is Allen the runner somehow different than Jackson the runner? Jackson never gets he runs too much. He takes too many hits. One guy absolutely fundamentally has to run. That's it. He's got to. There's no two ways about it. Allen with his arm is a different animal than Jackson. You see it on the throws outside the numbers. You see it just even decision making. Lamar is right where he's supposed to be in terms of they don't want him throwing 30 attempts. They keep him right around the low 20s. Allen's going to throw 35 plus every week. No doubt about it. Yeah, Moss got the one. No, he got 3 carries for 8 yards. He had a long of 5. I just don't know when it was. So I just remember, like, if Devin had an 18-yard run that was in the fourth quarter, I'm shocked they got a $125. Allen had 70 yards on the grounds, but like it was just a tale of two quarters. I'd love to see the quarter splits if you would. I mean, I get why they did that, just to try to like settle the game down, get Baltimore, finally keep their defense on the field for a little bit because the Bills first half they were on the field a lot. It was the reverse of last week where the Bills were on the field more defensively than the offense was able to. Let me see the time of possession splits here. Yeah, Baltimore had the ball for 38 minutes. I knew it was a big disparity in time of possession, but the 2 turnovers, even though Baltimore converted the Bills turnovers into 10 points, I believe, it was the final turnover by Baltimore that really killed them. That was the one because it just, you flip the score. Baltimore punches it in, scores a touchdown. Bills have to go down and score 7 because that's the last possession of the game probably for them. And if they don't make it, I swear with Mahomes, just hit him. It's almost like they're afraid to hit him and he just throws some crazy shit up there and there's a guy there. You ever notice that with Mahomes? It's like defenders get near him and they stop. They freeze. They just let him like have a look. Run through him. You see it right here. This is the most annoying thing ever. I don't know why. Every time it's just like, who is this? Yeah, how does Devontae White just whiff on open field tackle on him? Just has him dead to rights. Winfield comes up, and it's like a defensive end trying to cover Edwards-Helaire in the back of the end zone. Yeah, Tampa Bay's defense, supposedly this hellacious defense, but they got the ball to open the game and gave the ball right to KC, and they scored. It's right to open the game. You can't gift good teams 7 points. I mean, the Bills survived it this week. They didn't survive it last week. But hats off to the coaches, hats off to the players. That was a real gut check win today across the board. There's so many guys that deserve props. I mean, you got Dane coming back from the situation that he had in Tennessee against Tennessee. Crazy. the guys on a football field. And the climate is heightened now with the whole Tua situation, but I really get pissed when the league wants to be reactive instead of proactive with everything. Everything reactive, not proactive. It's just like what you do is you viciously strike the snout of the offending team, as opposed to like, okay, now if a guy just falls over, he slips on a banana peel during a game, it's like he's out and he can't come back in. What's up, Steve? How you doing, man? It drives me nuts that the league is like this. But be that as it may, we saw the situation with McKenzie today. You knew he was pretty much out of the game when he laid there. You're just scared, like, oh shit, this sucks. We're already light in numbers there. He's a good player. He's right behind Diggs, or he's tied with Diggs in touchdown receptions for the year. I mean, he's turning into a very, very good receiver down near the goal line, because he's so fast and shifty, and he's got such rapport with Josh. He's been with Josh the longest out of all the receivers. He's been there since 18 after he got claimed on waivers. So it was just an unfortunate situation that happened with him. That was really, really frustrating. But be that as it may, they were able to, stabilize it. Yep, three receiving touchdowns. I don't know how updated these numbers are, but it was really, really good to get this win. It would have really sucked to be going back home after going 0-2 on the road with 2 games you feel like you just gave away. You just gave away against good opponents too. One in your division, one in your conference. It just really would have left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. His ankle, Steve, he was also seen in a boot and on crutches. So I didn't think that that doesn't sound like a promising situation. Yeah, Moss, Singletary, dude, there's good backs at that weight. Thurman played the game around 200 pounds. It's just running behind your pads, getting, finding a hole. I know that they've implemented a new running scheme that the linemen are kind of like still feeling it out. I mean, they popped some runs, but it hasn't been great. They got the runs they needed when they were needed. So I'm happy with that. Those were in the fourth quarter. It was on the punt return, Steve. He fielded the punt. He held it up. It looked like he was okay. The pile and the commercial, went, and you don't see a replay. It's just, what is it with the league and replays now? It's either they're delaying the replay to hear babbling by the commentators, or they just don't show a replay at all. It's just like during the game today, during the broadcast, they had a split screen of one of the biggest plays of the game when the Bills were on their last drive, or the drive to tie the game. And there was a commercial playing in the split screen. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? We're watching a commercial and they split the screen right in the beginning. I was just so fucking mad. Moss, I feel it's weird because last week he has the 43-yarder. He has that one huge catch, makes a tackler miss, and gets upfield, gets a first down. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's a situation where these guys are rhythm runners. They need to be fed. They need to just run and run, to just get consistent carries, because every week it's Singletary who's pretty much the 1A. And it's kind of like you sprinkle in a little Singletary, a little Cook. I just think there needs to be just a really clear pecking order. And whoever is the guy, and you ride him. I don't care if it's Singletary, Moss, or Cook. You just got to find a guy, and then you feel like the best guy behind him gets burned too. So, and then we have Josh, who's another running back, quarterback, Buffalo back. just you got to get movement. You just got to get movement, and I don't care who's running the ball. There was on more than one of these short yardage plays. There's just been no movement up front, and the play was stymied in the backfield or right at the line. Yeah, man, a really huge win midnight. Jake, I see you, brother. It just all cock and balls today, man. He Edmonds looks like, what Edmonds for the first time in his career looks like to me now? He looks like that true natural leader in the defense. You see him really being vocal out there. You see him pointing at guys. You see him just coming close, like so razor close to making some plays, where he's got his hand out, he's ready to tip a pass. And you've seen him coming downhill in the run game, making tackles. Been very, very happy with Edmonds. And I would have, if you would have asked me even last year, I would have had some trepidation about them giving him some big money, but not this year. Not this year. You can hand him the contract. Milano was amazing today, Jake. He went to the Pro Bowl today, brother. He went to the Pro Bowl today. Like some of those open field tackles, the discipline, just being able to break it down and just wrap up, phenomenal. Some of the run stuffs he had, amazing. Just such an amazing defense from man 1 to man 70, where that includes the practice squad, that includes third stringers. Just what a great. And I'll say this, I've said this on Twitter, I'm going to say it again. One is down right now, unfortunately. He had surgery. That was another thing that kind of got lost in the madness. They announced that Micah Hyde had neck surgery in California. Bulging disc is probably what they known as a cervical decompression surgery. That's something guys have come back and played from. I don't think it's quite a fusion, though. So that's good that there's no hardware in his neck, like surgical steels, things like that. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are the two greatest free agent pickups in Bills franchise history. They're the two greatest. People would say Pop and Ted Washington in '95, where the organization was, the core guys were much, much older. Those were guys kind of like boost pieces to what had already been there. Kelly was, really on his last legs, on fumes. Poyer and Hyde came in at the infancy of this thing where we knew nothing about nothing with this regime, the coaches, what the plan was at quarterback. They've been here for 6 years, and they have been amazing. And there's no 21 and 23 are the truly the greatest pair of free agent acquisitions this organization has ever had. That's wow. Oliver, Zoe's a nice one. I mean, Bryce Pop won NFL Defensive MVP. Ted Washington is arguably the greatest nose tackle in NFL history. Mount Washington could not be moved. He literally added years onto Bruce Smith's career, freeing him up. If you remember that '99 defense and some of those defenses, no, they were hell on wheels too. You had a young Antoine Winfield, Henry Jones, Kurt Schultz. You had some real good players on those defenses. But Zoe was a very solid pickup. Just the kind of guy you want to, the personality, the character, and the production. He was just great. And he was really important to them building this thing. It's just, you see a guy like him, you see a guy like Kyle, and you just think, damn, it's a shame they weren't five to 8 years younger, so they could still be a part of this thing. Yeah, to me in history, Sam Adams wasn't a part of any winning, Tim, so I can't include him. But the rookies definitely did show up today. And shout out to Bass. There was the one field goal that was close. There was the one field goal, the 13-20 field goal that was very close. And every point was big, and he hit all his PATs. He hit all the field goals. That wind was rough out there. It got pretty bad late in the game, and that's where I felt like the Bills were going to get the chance to really take over. And is it just me, or was the broadcast very heavily skewed to Baltimore? They bitched and moaned about Poyer getting there early on Bateman for like 10 minutes. You just go back and look and think about those that Poyer missed flag. You think about that. It was just like 10 minutes, and I like Charles Davis and stuff. It's like, really? As many holds as Baltimore has gotten away with today, you're gonna bitch and moan about that. Hollisek and Cowart and Rogers were draft picks, not free agents. Oh yeah, and I like Charles Davis. I like Charles Davis. But when you look at, like, these guys are captains, these guys are leaders, these guys are core. I mean, and production as a tandem. Being the best safety tandem for like 2, 3, possibly 4 years straight, maybe even 5 years straight. It's like there's no contest to me. Had he not been injured and they just didn't win, Takeo would have been up there. The second he does his Achilles, he's not the same player anymore. It was a really sucky injury right there. Yeah, there was a couple when Allen slides on one of the runs, and then both Baltimore guys, defenders, I forget which two it was, they come in with like flying knees to either side of his head. And let's not forget the Melvin Ingram leg whip last week to Josh's nuts. So it just I'm going off on tangents here. But yeah, today was such a signature win. You could tilt your season one of two ways, and they always look at the season in quarters. McDermott says you look at the season in quarters, and you go 3-1 in your first quarter, where you feel like you could go 4-0. You could have gone 4-0 had he had not been a charity last week in a gift giving season down in Miami. And that situation with the heat and stuff, maybe guys weren't on point with their hydration. I don't know. But I did hear the heat, from everybody that was there. They said the heat was really, really bad, worst that they had ever seen on the field. And the biggest injury of that game to me was the Kumaro injury, because he was going to take wear and tear off Gabe Davis, Diggs, McKenzie. He would have been on the field, 30, 40 offensive snaps running. He's a good target. He can get deep. And once he goes down early and you're thin in numbers, that's why I hated the block punt. I didn't like the block punt. I hated the block punt. You know why? Because I'm like, if Townsend punts in the end zone, Bills are going to get it at midfield. They're going to get it at midfield or in plus territory with 1:30. Go punch that ball in the end zone. I wanted that ball punched in the end zone. I didn't want to have to play the field goal game. You would have had to score a touchdown, actually, 17-21. So I was fully confident that team could have went and scored a touchdown. After the botched situation down near the goal line. I don't know what had Josh skipped it to McKenzie. It was so many things last week. There were so many different plays you could have chosen from where it you feel like the game could have went one or other. Morris back was massive. Morris back was massive. It's good to get out of Dodge with a W because then the injuries don't expound as much. Davis looked like he came through the game okay. I think McKenzie will be back next week. I'm really excited about Khalil Shakir. I'm really excited about this kid. I think this kid has some juice. I think he plays with an edge. He has an intensity to him. The game needs to slow down a little bit. And then once you get Kumaro back, then things kind of calm down a little bit. You let Dawson get a little bit healthier. He's finally got involved in the run game. Yeah, man. 3 picks today, Eric. 3 picks today. And Pittsburgh officially made the switch in game. They went what a drop by Edwards-Helaire. Holy shit. Wow. Did you guys just see that? That's crazy. And the thing I like now is Shakir, who's saying he can play. He can play. He's got the reps all week, because they know they're going to spot McKenzie. McKenzie's been with Josh for 5 years. Shakir, run him, get him in with that first team, get him going. Get him going and just get him lathered up. The same thing with Cook too. I want to see Cook. None of these running backs have shown me, Singletary had a nice fourth quarter. That's not enough. He's a free agent next year. You invested a second-round pick in James Cook. Get him on the field. 4 years for what, Tim? Yeah, the ball is wet. Josh is throwing it, quick. I just get him some run out on the edge. Get him in space. Create that way. There's some of those screens that Singletary gets that I'm just like, damn, if this guy 5, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is year 5, buddy. He was picked up on waivers in 18. Yeah, everyone. It was bad out there. Like the interception early with Josh, it was a miss. It turns out Calais Campbell tipped it, but it looked like the receivers, it was Diggs and Knox, they got crossed up. The ball slipped out of his hand. And just the way the weather was, I'm like, this reminds me of the KC game in 2020 at home. The weather was misting. It's all right, Tim. I make mistakes all the time. It's not a big mistake. It's just you forget. You just little things slip through the cracks. Shit. A bunch of shit during the game probably slipped through the cracks for me because we're all riding on diesel fuel for emotion. We're on fumes by the end of the game. I have to go run 4+ miles after the game because I'm just juiced to the gills. Proof on IG. But man, yeah, he got cut by the Broncos. Thank you, Broncos. He got released by Denver. Bills claimed him on waivers. His first game, Tim, crazy. His first game with the Bills was in Miami. Yeah, once they... Oh, Brady's hurt. Brady's hurt. Oh, shit. He's grabbing that throwing arm. He was telling you, Father Time gets you. It gets you. Sorry, I'm just going to... Snead comes screaming off. Brady does not see him. Oh! And those are the... Gets him right in the hand, too. That was a rough one. Yeah, that's why, like, at the end of the end, he fumbled. And Chris Jones picks it up. KC looks like they're ready to run away with this one. Because Tampa Bay's offense looks like shit. Yeah, the refs, believe it or not, the Bills didn't get called for a lot of penalties in this game. They got called. It was a very not a heavily penalized game for the Bills. For Baltimore, it was 4-31 for the Bills. They got the big 15-yarder at the end for the roughing the passer, which I make no apologies for. I'll take it because Baltimore was getting away with shit all game. They had 9 for 70, and they were missing probably about 40 yards because of holding penalties. The one on Dane Jackson was egregious. He was there with his arms up, and you could see that he was being held. And it's just like, are the refs gonna throw? I was just like, okay, there's a flag. A flag's coming. I'm like, and then he throws it to Dobbins. I'm like, I'm waiting. I'm like, there's gonna be a flag, right? The 4th and 10 as well. I'm like, oh, the Bills are going to get a hold of the 4th and goal. I'm like, oh, the Bills are going to get a holding goal. They're gonna back them up 10 yards, and Baltimore will have to kick. They'll settle for the field goal. And I'm like, there's no flag. There's no flag. And then he throws it, and then Poyer just is Johnny on the spot, literally. And I'm like, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't get it. Like I've seen holding, illegal contact, but the pass interference calls just aren't there. They just really aren't there. Yeah, Antonio. Oof. I mean, there's so many guys. I mean, there was a few rushes today, man. There was more than a few rushes that you really see Von Miller's impact on a team. Like how he moves, how teams have to play him, they have to be cognizant of where he is at all times. He picked up a sack today, a tackle for a loss. He got a little good whack on Jackson, but yeah, Greg Rousseau, that was a beautiful, beautiful move. Came downhill inside and just swallowed, just took Jackson right to the ground. Bill's only crazy. Only gave up one sack today, and it wasn't. It was one. It was a frustrating one to give up, but still, Milano 13 total tackles, 11 solo, 2 tackles for loss. Edmonds 9 total, 5 solos, 2 tackles for loss, 1 hit on the QB. Damar Hamlin, he was the guy in, not Jaquan Johnson. Everybody thought Jaquan Johnson was going to get the burn. And thank you, Eric, because I was going to get to him. Then I went off on a sidetrack tangent. Kaiir Elam. Anybody notice him? Anybody mention him? Nope. Because, damn, that means he's good. When people remember 2 things. If you're not talking about your corners, you're not talking about your O-line, they're playing good. And he's playing good. Playing good, man. I'm going to enjoy this win, Tim. I'll think about next week starting Wednesday. That's my rule, brother. No, he played today. He played. He was in there rotating with guys, Jake. He was playing a lot. He was on special teams. I saw 55 out there for sure. It was a crazy, crazy game. It was a crazy game. The situation with, they were trying to spell Vaughn again, 38 and change to only 21 and change in time of possession. Yeah, Basham just had one tackle, gang tackle. That was really it. He didn't really, it was basically Miller, Rousseau. I saw a lot of Epinesa today. It's just the field was sloppy. Guys had a hard time getting traction, putting their feet in the ground. Excuse me. Yeah, it was a walk-in touchdown. This game is a wash for for Tampa Bay. They just look old and slow, to be honest with you. I'll say this, Antonio, like if the coaches aren't playing him, there's a reason, and when they finally do put him out there, there'll be a reason. I think we've been with this coaching staff long enough to know that they only put guys out there that they trust and want to and trust to win games. And it's obvious that they trusted Singletary late, and he was in there. That's crazy. And Eric, you're gift wrapping teams, the last two teams 7 points. Those two scoring drives should not be on the defense. This defense has held teams to defense has legitimately held teams to 10 or 14 points in the last 2 weeks. The prior week 7, the prior week 10. That's insane in this day and age. The offensive line's not getting any movement. And the running backs kind of like, and I think the running backs are kind of like they're feeling it. This like, look, I don't know if a run's gonna pop off because our guys aren't moving anybody. They got movement late. But when it counted, well, he's not an alcoholic, Jake. That helps too. The whole thing with Jackson in the pocket, like he was, touted like, oh, he's better than his MVP season. I'm like, when you have a quarterback that can only throw a certain amount, and when he's been asked to throw more, it's the numbers say no mas. Like if you look at this year, he's at 29 or 30 attempts. That's it. 20 or 9 or 30 attempts. They're not going to ask him to do any more than that. They're going to ask him to decompress you with his run, get players trying to cheat, teams trying to cheat, and then that's how a lot of the passes break open for him. It's like you're playing, but when he has to throw, upwards of 30, 35 times, he's got some wins, but they don't ask him to do it a lot. And then you notice his accuracy goes down, the interceptions go up. It's just the narrative about the running. It's like it's okay for him to run. He can run all he wants. But if Josh runs, oh my God, it's the end of the world. It's Josh's running. Yeah, me too, Mike. I mean, again, it's a new scheme. He's on a new team. I'm hoping that they can get this sorted out quick. It got a little better in the second half, especially on that field. So, knock on wood, 3-1. Jake, I saw I don't even know. I think he's 1.5 read. He sees it. He'll give his second one a quick look, and then his head comes down. The ball comes down. I watched it today. He was waiting on. That's why the fucking Poyer interception happened. He's backing up. He wanted the guy and it was in the same direction, but he was fixated. I believe it was on. I don't know if it was on Ricard or Andrews. He was locked in on him. He sees Duvernay late as fuck because Duvernay was open for forever and a day. Poyer's in the middle of the field. I think he ran into Taron Johnson, and then he's like, oh shit, and he books over to Duvernay, and the ball is right in his chest. Well, Josh said in the press conference, Steve, they just said, get a hat on a hat, Bob, big on big, and just start moving people. Let's not get cute. Let's go. But you can't say that, Josh, because it's like, oh, you're you see the tweets. Put some respect on. I mean, Dominic Foxworthy, literally tweeted 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. Oh, I laugh when Josh Allen makes a stupid mistake because of his fans and yada yada yada. I was gonna tweet something to that piece of shit today. I mean, Antonio, you're preaching to the choir, brother. If we have Dane, if we have Poyer, um, and then shout out to the interior guys, man. The interior O line, like they've really, like with the injuries and stuff, have played extremely well. Like they gave up, 160 and a very quiet 160 rushing yards to Baltimore today. Hill had some good runs. Dobbins had a few good runs. Jackson, but still, like you got a Mealy in there. You've got Brandon Bryant, and just and they've played very very. We're not giving up. We're not getting gashed. We're just really not. Well, Lawson was getting held. If you want to go count the number of holds, Jake, on the one last play, Lawson's the first guy. The next guy starts getting held, and that's why he's just backing up, and he's just waiting for Andrews. And it's like, dude, he's not going to be open. There's like three guys there on top of him. And then he's, again, Duvernay late. When did he say? Of course he is. I mean, we know why, Josh. I mean, it's obvious why. And Jackson, what's that? Is Jackson's a nice player. Like he's a good player. Like he's everything they said about and again, poor Tyrod today gets in the game against the Giants, interception, and he gets a concussion. Prince's big head for popping up that pass. But that play, Lynn, I swear the play though, that it drove me nuts because it's like you go 3 and out. You finally steal a possession and then the game is tied. Here's your chance to really I really feel like they were crumbling. Once that score started getting close, you could see Baltimore start to panic. And you hear this narrative how John Harbaugh is this, he's this great coach, he's this, he's on top of it, this and that. He wasted that. Thank you, by the way, John Harbaugh, for wasting a challenge on the spot on the Lamar Jackson fourth down where he wasted a time, he wasted a timeout on the spot because he wanted to show that he got it. That's no big deal. Like you're a running team. You don't feel like your team could pick up a half a yard? Yeah, that was bad on the tight end. Was that Cameron Brate that took that hit, Bowman? To me, it's 1A. It's those two. It's those two and Rodgers. That's it. Yo, what's up? What's up, Matt? How you doing, bro? Big. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it was even during the week, during the week, I watch a lot of Bills in-house stuff. I like Chris Brown and Steve Tasker, and it was just their inside the numbers was just a Lamar Jackson suck off fest. And then they had a guy on Daniel Wilcox who does I don't know if he does sideline or radio for Baltimore, and he's in there lying about Lamar Jackson's age, saying he's 23 and imagine how good he's going to be when he's 25, same age as Allen. I'm like, Lamar Jackson's 25 years old. Are you saying he was drafted when he was fucking 17? He's been in the league 5 years. Like anybody can do 2 clicks and find out you're lying. Like he's only 100 days younger than Josh Allen. Like what the fuck are you talking about? Like he's going to get better as a passer. He's throwing he's 63% completion for the season. That's considered average nowadays. That's considered average. Like might even consider it below. If you're one of the elite top tier quarterbacks, allegedly, you're up in the high 60s to low 70s. I just don't see them going the old route. You heard McDermott, you heard Bean. They reward the in-house guys, and I think Hodges is the next guy up. If they have to go with him for a couple of weeks, I think they will. 100%, Mike. Oh, they picked up the first down. But all week it was just I don't watch national media because I can't. And even if they praise the Bills, I don't like it. I don't like, Cowherd because his narrative, his talking points change every 2 minutes, who he likes and who he doesn't like. That's the thing, Antonio. It's like they've had those guys out, they played it safe with them, and still like that's on the back end. That's coming. We know Trey's coming. We know Ed's coming. We know Phillips is coming. Do you? Nah, Dean Marlowe's kind of an in the past kind of guy. I'll be honest with you. The only guy I see, and I hate to say it, I hate to say it because I don't want to say it. It's Odell Beckham Jr. I think if there's one guy they'll flip the switch for, especially if this Crowder injury is long term, it would be him. Again, last week, 43-yard run. The drive comes to nothing. I think that ends in a field goal. And then he does have the big catch. You see ability. You just don't see the consistency. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. You can get him to the bye and get him healthy. It probably wouldn't be much. Fantastic, Matt. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And that's the nice thing now is when Trey gets back, it's like you don't have to kill him. You can be like, hey, take it down off. Take a series off because you got Jackson, you've got Elam, you've got Benford. And we kind of forget during the course of the year, those guys run a lot. There's a lot of wear and tear on those guys too. But I mean, Christian Benford, it's a 6th-round pick. And it's like when you found out he was out of the game last week, our heads sank. That's insane. Most people wouldn't even think about a 6th-round pick. Oh, who's that? Oh, we drafted him. Well, where was he from? Oh, Villanova. Oh, shit. Let me go look. Oh, man. I didn't even know he was on the team. I mean, if you want to say it's a weakness, it is the weakness. When on a team full of strengths, that's the most obvious weakness. Yeah, but he's injured. I don't want him either, Jake. But if they do, I wouldn't like it. There's injuries at that position, and he's talented, and I don't know yet. But he's injured too. He had an ACL in the Super Bowl. So we're just hypothesizing here. Yeah, Jackson's 6th-round, 7th-round pick. It's insane. There's only one, and the running back there is obvious, Eric. But I just don't see that. I think I just don't see it. I don't see them because they're not going to give up a lot. They value their draft picks. They're not giving up a 2nd-round pick for them. A third, maybe. But and everybody knows who the running back is. I think I'm sure it's kind of a amalgamation of different running schemes because he was there. He was the offensive line coach with Roman, Aaron Cromer. So it was a kind of a meshing of those two styles. But I hope that it just gets better, because you really don't get the physicality. There's so few padded practices. They don't tackle anymore. The preseason games are light and lovely. It's really hard to get the running game lathered up since we are a throwing team. But you know what it is? It's like we always want what we can't have or what we don't have. I'm not saying we don't have a good running game, but for years, that's all the Bills were. And we wanted a quarterback. We've got arguably the best quarterback in the league, and everybody's belly aching. And I get it. Like, I want to be more balanced too, but that horse we have under center is a fucking freight train. with his arm, his mind, his legs, and his will. And I don't want the ball out of his hands for no fucking reason. He's on crutches, man, and he was in a boot, so that's probably for travel. They can get him home and get an MRI. You get a boot on, so you limit mobility, you limit inflammation. Hopefully, it's a sprain, and you're able to. My cousin just texted me. He's like, he calls me Tony. He's like, why can't Tom Brady retire from football? He's had like 20 years to play, but can't seem to give it up, even for his marriage. I figured you know why, because he's just. I would do it too. I mean, if I had the ability to play in the NFL and I can play till my age now, sorry, wife, you gotta let me do me. You got me for the rest of, you got a great life. My kids got a great life. I love them to death. But it's just if it's a high ankle, Josh, definitely. I would say 4 to 6 with the bye. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see what McDermott says. I would agree, Midnight. We need to be a little more balanced. I would like that, but that's a touchdown. Get the fuck out of here. That's a touchdown. How is that not a touchdown? I want to look at that again. I really hope the Ravens pay. Okay, that's not a touchdown. Sorry. It was knocked out. Yeah, just leave one of the guys in and let them. And Hodges would be nice because he brings something a little different with the size. He brings something a little different with the size. Touchdown. That's a touchdown. That's a huge touchdown. Holy shit. This game reminds me of the game the Bills were just in. They've done everything wrong, but they're only down 12 points right now, maybe 11. And for me personally, I bring Hodges up. You bump Shakir up a notch, and then that's the way you go. Too early, Hussein. Don't chase that point early, brother. When you need it, but don't chase it. Now, if they do and get it, I won't complain. Rashard Penny, really? They're winning, though. And I think they just gave him a big deal. You might want to look that up. And I don't think the Bills are going to want to tie themselves to a big money running back just yet. Okay. This is now the game is on. The game is on. I just feel like this is the season Bean might make. I mean, he did it his first year with Kelvin Benjamin. This is the year they might make a move for a player. And it's got to be the right player at a certain position. It just can't be. I mean, Crowder was playing nice, but I mean, I'm always in favor. Like, give me the young juice, give me the unknown. Especially with this team. I just don't like. It's just like after one game where a team collapses defensively, and you just have track speed on the field, and they run past you. He threw some touchdowns, and it's just like every media personality from coast to coast has been trying to talk about Tua gone from the Dolphins. All of a sudden, they like the head coach. They think he's the cat's meow. And then Tua does what he does in that fourth quarter. Never mind the fact they were down by 21 points. He had at that point thrown 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. It was just another average game for him. And it's like he's oh my God, he's a darling. Like he can do no wrong. He's better than everybody. Oh my God. And it was just it was just so fucking annoying. And then, of course, what happens in Miami happens, and that whole shady situation, and given the Bill situation, it's like the national media talked about none of that. They kind of glossed over it, like, oh, the injuries, the heat, the whole right side of the offensive line was third teamers. We had the left guard playing, we had the right guard playing with a torn ACL. He didn't even know he was you know had a torn ACL till he got back to Buffalo. Oh, finally they sacked him. Carl Nassib. Let me read some of your comments, guys. My main goal is to enter the playoffs relatively healthy. I mean, you enter the playoffs how you answer, man. It just that, and this team's done a great job. You know, they've ran into some injuries late, but he's rehabbing the Achilles. I mean, he's due. I think he's due to come off at the ends, just like this week. Trey could come back this week. They could start practicing him, and Ike can start practicing this week too, if they so choose. Yeah, late in the fourth quarter. Trying to read some comments today. Sorry, guys. They love the coach because how he dresses and talks. Yeah, it's like he's this year's version of Brandon Staley. You know, 2016 Sean McVay. It's like every year they find one of these darlings they just jizz all over of, and then it's just like, okay, it quickly wears off. Yeah, when they gave them they reset the play clock, that was crazy. They finally sacked him. Jesus Christ. Yeah, an Achilles injury is tough. Like you have to you have to pick and choose when you want to come back from it, especially the O line. You know. Yeah, seriously, dude. If you're dehydrated, man, that's the first thing to go is your equilibrium, and it's salt. People were talking about water. I'm like, yo, these guys need salt tabs. You need salt tabs, and you don't need regular. You don't drink Gatorade. You drink Pedialyte Sport. You take Noons, Noons. I know all about this shit. Noons, not regular water. You don't drink regular water during a week. Fucking things like this. Yeah, that it was Clark and Humphrey. It was like a wrestling move, dude. And he had slid, and like they come in with the knees. Oh yeah, isn't that funny? A back injury where a guy holds his head and then stumbles and does this. You know in the league when they take a body off the field. Now I've seen guys die in the ring and didn't know it yet. Boxing. It's crazy to watch. You know, where a guy is basically like dead on his feet and doesn't know it yet. He just has to leave the ring and then go to the hospital and his brain swells and he's a vegetable. He's declared dead. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. It's sad to see, and it's surreal because you know you're seeing something bad. You just don't know how bad it is till you hear the news. You know, there was one guy, a Russian guy, was a heavyweight, and he I remember the punches that he took. It was a fight in the theater in Madison Square Garden back in like 2014, and he just turned into a vegetable after the fight and died. You know, he's not dead, but he's basically never boxed again, and he's a vegetable. And so that's why I say the league is reactive, not proactive. They could have done a lot better, and I blame them across the board. I blame the Dolphins. You know, they really put because they put they put the guys in a bad spot because you're an NFL player and you put a hit on Tua that cripples him or God forbid kills him, and you're gonna do that to a dude like that could fucking mentally destroy a dude. Like I just killed a guy. I just crippled this guy. I just you know, like they might not be able to recover from that psychologically either and never play the sport again properly. The NFL is really, how do you think the NFL is, they fire a guy, they've already rolled out the proverbial the sacrificial lamb, that they gave everybody one bowl of blood. Let's see what their investigation will uncover. Probably nothing. Maybe the knees job brought out. Yeah, I don't know. A makeup call, maybe. I would take it. Yeah, man. They're very. I noticed this with the Bills. I noticed this with the Bills. They're very kind of, with their rookies. They're very they don't throw them to the wolves right away. They really, really don't. They're very selective with who they just kind of say, here you go, have at it. I mean, in 18, it was a completely different situation with the state of the roster. They did it with Tremaine. They didn't want to do it with Allen, but they were in such a position they had no choice. Year one, Trey, obviously, with the new situation, they just, he was their first round pick. He obviously showed the ability to do it, and he did it, and he, was great at it. But since, Oliver even had to earn his stripes in 2020, Ruseo came in and played right away, but he rotated pretty heavily also. Yeah, they're not very. Again, they really don't. They really pick and choose their spots with rookies. They've already lost one. At least, they've already lost one. People forget they already lost. Oh, they're showing the Poyer interception. Oh, what a huge victory. Josh is just elated after that. Josh is just, he gets up, he's like, damn, I've been through it. I've been through it today. That's a great scene. What are they saying here? Let me see what, I just want to see what Rodney Harrison's saying. This run by Josh, the touchdown run, he tucks it, he knows to tuck it. Why do people start? Should I say this? Why do people talk about, what's up, crazy? How you doing, bro? Stephen Ross tanking. People talk about the Ravens defense, like Ravens defense. That'd be like me talking about the 90s Bills. Like, Ray Lewis isn't there. Ed Reed's not there. Haloti Ngata's not there. Jamie Sharper's not there. Chris McAllister's not there. Tony Saragusa's not there. Terrell Suggs is not there. DeJuan Landry's not there. Like, these guys aren't showing up. Like, these guys ain't like gonna show up and be like, hey, we're 25 again, let's roll. Like, why do they talk about Ravens defense? Like, the coordinator, like they're like 3-4 different coordinators away from that. Martindale's here with the Giants. He's a little bit of a scrambler. He threw 3 picks today against the Jets in one half of football. So we'll see. We'll see, Josh, what they do at receiver today. No, it's they talk about their defense as it's like the 99 Ravens defense, or the 2000 Ravens defense. It's like, that's gone. That's long gone. Yeah, it's not good. It's always rep. It's lazy. It's just like, it's reputation narratives. Like, okay, this is a well coached, well disciplined team. The Steelers, are they? I mean, Antonio Brown, who's going around the world jerking off in front of women in pools. That's what the disciplined Steelers put up with all those years, as long as he was catching footballs and not going totally batshit crazy. We saw how long that lasted. Peters was, yeah, he went off. That's crazy because, you know, that could be an ugly situation. And I'm glad that the Bills don't have that. But I was really pissed because they were trying to get one on him. They were really hoping he would get grabby because you can beat him because he likes to cheat. Oh, would have boat raced the Dolphins too. So that's the one. I just hate that. I just hate thinking about that game. Hate thinking about that game. They didn't though. I wasn't worried about them making a play. I was worried about the Bills of them making a mistake. I'm like, I'm not worried about the Ravens defense. The Bills played as bad a half of football as they could play and still scored 10 points. So I'm like, if they can just calm this shit down and the defense has to bow up and play big, there's no doubt about that, they can win. It was just the one when the Bills defense finally got a turnover at midfield and they did nothing with it. I really thought that's where the Bills lost the game. I'm like, they came all the way back to tie it. You get the turnover you need, you steal the possession, and then it's like you go 3-and-out. And then to punt the ball back down to the Ravens, and they punted it. They pinned them inside the 5, I believe, inside the 10. And the Ravens drove all the way down. And then the Poyer interception saves them. It was like, it was like your heart was in your ass and your balls are in your throat. It was just, oh, it was a rough, it was a great watch for the win, but a rough watch for the long haul because, yeah, the one the ball, the receivers were trading gloves right and left. I don't know if you guys noticed at the end of the game, Davis went without gloves. Like he totally ditched the gloves. He was playing barehanded out there. 9 fumbles, Josh. Yeah, that's again, Tom, like what, last year, maybe year, but he's, yeah, the guy is a recluse. Kyle Hamilton, Patrick Queen, Owe, Calais Campbell. I know guys under defense. It's just they're not what people think about the Ravens defense. It's like when the Bills played the Ravens in 2019 at home, that's a different Bills team in the sense that the experience, how they've grown together, Josh's maturation. That's the Bills. That was the John Brown could have had. A bigger receiver might catch that, but that was then. This is now. Just the fumble, Trevor. The fumble there. He can't be doing that. That cost the Bills points. You go down 14 right there. You just can't, hand teams possessions on your side of the field and expect to survive every week. And the Bills have done, their offense has given up 14 points, gift wrap to the other team. And that's just, you just can't do that every week. You can't do that any week. You just can't, and you can't do it against super, super good teams. Dude, I'm happy with this one, crazy. And I'm gonna ride it for a little while. I needed it, especially after this week, and especially after the way this game started. It was really rough for all of us. For all of us, we all must have been sitting there. The water bottle got crushed. It didn't get thrown at the computer monitor like last week. So I behaved myself, but I was really, really upset. I was a little calmer when they got it to 10-20. I'm like, okay. Bills were up 10-0 on the Steelers. opener of last year. Like they can get back in this. They just have to maximize their opportunities, and they cannot make a mistake. They can't turn the ball over. They can't give up a big play. They just cannot do it. And the one big play they gave up was where Jackson just heaved it, and Duvernay in that whole smozzle came down with it, which was crazy. I was just knock the ball out of bounds. Just tap the ball out of bounds. Then it's 3rd and 19. I'm not saying they won't convert it because we saw 3rd and 22 last week, but it's a good chance Bills gave up a field goal on that. Little things like that. It's just little inconsistencies that we're seeing that is just, you could lose your games. But, just the way that they came back and the resolve of the team from man 1 to 2 was amazing. It really was. Well, Steve, if you remember, the screen at the end of the game was huge, 16 yards. It was a nice little screen, and Singletary cut it back inside, and just the headiness to stay in bounds. Nobody ran for the sidelines. And Baltimore, once the Bills passed the 50, Baltimore really crumbled. And then when they got hit with the flag on the roughing the passer, that was they just really just kind of, it's almost like they conceded the game. It's almost like they knew they were going to lose, because from there on out, it was the Singletary screen. It was a run, and then Josh kind of like snaked it in there for that little first down there. And I was just like, they could kneel on the ball here and milk it all the way down to 20 seconds. And then you're in a situation, well, they have no timeouts. It's not going to be what KC was last year. But once they got that first down, it's like, yeah, you take that clock down to 0. You don't give them any time, which they did. And then boom. Yeah, that was crazy, Mike. I was like, wow. Yeah, I don't know, Trevor. Too close. Too many mistakes. I get it. Yeah, I like, what I like is his ability after he catches the ball. He looks like a real good run after catch, guys, what we need. We don't have enough of that. That's why when you lose a McKenzie in the game, it was so shitty. It was so shitty because he's arguably our best run after catch guy. But Shakir provides that. He really provides that. He provides some of that quick hitter kind of. He has a nice burst, a really underrated burst. He has some nice moves. I mean, if you can find, like, and I know this guy's more established, but he's still a young player. If we find our Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalil Shakir, that's what I mean. Like, get this guy. Crowder's a nice player, but Shakir, we don't quite know what he is. Let's get him. The time is now. Let's get him rolling. Dude, they can have it. There's no Pro Bowl. There's no more Pro Bowl. It's just a skills competition now. The week after. And they came back. I mean, you're just glad to win where you can win. I'm never going to apologize for wins. I mean, there was all those years where Bills would have to win nip and tuck games because that's the only way they could win. I remember there was a game here against the Jets. The Bills got like 6 turnovers and they won the game still. It was only like 13 to 16. It was terrible. John Windling had an interception off the punter. Mark Sanchez threw like 5 picks. Yeah, why? Like, fuck that. The other team is trash. They exposed them. They made them play bad. But we have to ooh. No, fuck that. You win how you win. And then you just move on to the next. And this is a terrible, terrible conversion to give up for Tampa Bay. Because I believe they needed a stop here to try to get back in this game. But if this team goes down and scores it. Oh, that's a huge drop. Wow. Yeah, Jarris Bird had a big game that game, Matt. It was like 5 interceptions. It was crazy. But the Bills couldn't score. I think Trent got knocked out of the game. Fitzpatrick threw a long touchdown to Fitz threw a long touchdown to so it's 2009. Fitz threw a long touchdown to Lee Evans. It was like a catch and run at like 80 something yards. Really long. And what's he going to do there, Trevor? I mean, if he throws the ball out of bounds, the Bills still just get the ball right there, and then you got a longer road to hoe. But he throws the interception. The Bills get the ball at the 20. So that's a huge like flip of the field. Yeah, well, the Bills also made a lot of plays when they had to, and it was a tale of two halves. You had the Bills. They score 13 points, and then you shut out a Ravens team in the second half. That's hard. Yeah, it's one game. Week 5 we played, and then they go right back out on the road. They go right back out on the road to KC. They come back after the bye as Sunday night against Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. They held them to a field goal. That's huge. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like they played there the one time in 20, and it's like it's like however many straight in it's like 4 straight in KC. They're like we can't get a game, but you know what? You play them where you play them. I can't believe my cousin asked me that. Why can't Tom Brady retire already? It's not like I don't know. Yeah, there wasn't any fans there either. It was a real weird. Was that the Tuesday game, Matt? Terrible, weird game. I felt good because we're finally back. We're there, finally back. We're kind of finally back on that Sunday, 1:00. The next week it'll be another Sunday, 1:00. You can kind of get into a rhythm with that, and then it's KC at 4. Then it's KC at 4. I think that's a national game, so they have the national window on CBS. I would love that, Aaron. I would love that. Yeah, it was like MVP. It just kept hearing the MVP, and it's like, look at his numbers since his MVP year. He's had a nice start to the season. In the first 3 games, this game was not good, but like look at 20 and 21. Look at it as a whole. Don't look at it as like, okay, he had an MVP year. Josh's year, his best year was better than that. And since then, 26 TDs, 16 TDs, and then today he threw 2 picks, threw 1 touchdown. Hasn't been close to 65% completion. Threw 66 in his. I mean, was injured a bunch last year. He's a good player. He's a top 10 quarterback, but he's not somebody I'm like kicking down doors over. You like it, K Beats? Is it good? It's another week. I'm not cutting my hair, dude. I debated doing it this week, but I'm like, I'll give it one more week. I'm gonna give it one more week. If they win, I keep. If they fucking shit the bed, I'm gonna cut it. And man, that first half, I was like, yo, I'm getting ready to call Manny Barber. And I was like, by the end of the game, I'm like, she's staying. Phew, that's a good one. Donkey out of the ditch. Yeah, dude, it was kind of one of those games. It was just like, oh, it just you let it get away from you, and I'm glad it didn't come to that because you know what this whole week would have felt like. All the talk. Um, why? What did Keyshawn say? If you can link me to something, Josh, I would love it. If he's got something to say or he have some clip, I would love to see it because I like seeing these pricks eat crow. Oh shit! Where the fuck was Brady going with that? He just threw that downfield. Oh, that's Ryan Wendell. He's the Bills' assistant O line coach. Mike, I'd say the same, Josh. Like it's just like I watched the game too, and I don't see what you guys see. I don't see this evolved, you know, passer. I see the same guy I saw in 2019. I see that same guy. I see the same guy. I don't see anything different. I see a guy when he sits in the pocket and has to come off one, and he'll peek at two, but if he doesn't like it, the ball's coming down and so is his head. It goes right to the rush. Oh, Brady got popped on that one. Holy shit. He's a tough motherfucker because he's out there getting hammered by like 300-pound dudes at 45 years old. That's insane. Trying to read some of your comments, guys. Man, they're winning games ugly, but they're winning, Antonio. I'll give them credit. They're winning games ugly, but they're doing it. Oh, where's the penalty on that one? Chris Jones just flung him down like a bitch. And he didn't get a personal foul on that? That's crazy, Josh. Who's he trying to throw to? Justin Gage Jr. and yeah, I mean, with Tua, it's health, and you still got to see consistency. You can't take. I mean, we have a Trent Edwards 5-game sample that looked great, and after that, it was just or looked good to great, and then it just went to shit. So you know, and Lamar, that's a tough division. That's a tough division. Steelers are still a pain in the ass to play against. Bengals have righted the ship. You know, Cleveland's winning some games. So, you know, you got to take your hat off to them with the injuries and stuff. So it's just like, you know, we'll see. We'll see where they go, you know, where they end up. But Ryan Wendell, Wendall. He was an offensive lineman for the Patriots for a little bit. Aquaman. It actually gives that emoji? Or do you put it? Oh, what the hell's up with that punt? It looks like it went straight up. That wasn't a good punt. Where did it go out of bounds? At the 30? He's running. Oh, God. At the 35. That's a terrible punt. God awful. So, I mean, takeaways from today, guys, is our team's mettle was tested and they answered the bell. The defense, again, A+ unit across the board. Tops in the league, in my opinion. Homer bias, yep. Best in the league, especially given the injuries. Our quarterback answered the bell in the second half and played his ass off, whether he had to run, whether he had to throw, make a guy miss, wait for a guy to come open. It was you know, it was a really, really, really nice win. You know, it's nice to sit and relax and blow a team out, but when you see your team have to fight, scratch and claw, and they come back and they pull it out at the end. especially, when you see them, it's like, I don't know for you guys individually, you could each answer. Where did you feel like they were going to win? Like, they're going to pull this out. For me, they get on the other side of the 50, and it's like, okay, they got the penalty, was 1st and 15. Then shortly after that, Josh throws incomplete, but then they get the 15-yard personal foul. And it's like, okay, I think they have this. And then when Singletary got even though I felt Bass was good, I felt like he hit it. It's just the winds, the weather, you always risk a block. Calais Campbell's really, really tall. You never know. We saw it last week. And then when Singletary gets it down inside the 15, I'm like, I think they're going to pull this off. And in one, getting them to bleed their timeouts, and it worked. Every play was perfect. It was like the long first down run. Josh getting that sneaky first down there. That was it was like, okay, it was right to the end. I thought that once the Bills went 3-and-out after getting the first Poyer interception, I felt like that was their missed chance. I felt like and it killed me because it was coming to fruition as the Ravens drove down and then they decided to go for it. And I was like, okay, this is the game. You either give up a touchdown or you stop them here and you get a chance to go down and win, which they did. So I'm glad I was wrong. The Bills got the monkey off their back with a close win. Never worried, honestly. I was fucking worried. Down 20-3. I'm fucking worried, dude. When they got the first down at the 1, I knew they had it. Yeah, Matt. I feel you. That was, it was that kind of game, It was really that kind of game where it just, fine margins. I mean, there was some balls in the air. It was just, there was a couple there. You never know with the flags. You never know how these fucking refs are going to, all of a sudden, a piece of laundry is going to come out. It's going to set you back 10, 15 yards. And, you saw them losing their heads during the game, right before as the Bills got close, you saw Peters already starting to lose his shit. And I thought then and there that they were going to get a penalty, but they didn't. It was only when the Bills got the first down, he really started going on a tirade. But the first half beats the, finally getting the game back. Like when they get it back to 2020, like I said multiple times in the chat, like 2020, you get the turnover at midfield and you do still fuck all with it. I was like, this was me. I was like, I didn't care about flipping the field. I'm like, you burned them for that. You put them to the sword for doing that. And it just killed me. That's such a free play. Oh my God. That's such a free play. Yeah, man. A TD is always nice, but in that situation, you don't want to we don't want to score a TD. And then I was a little worried on the run by Singletary. I'm like, I don't want them to carry him into the fucking end zone. Like they didn't carry him in the end zone. He kind of just turtled up. So I was like, all right, bet. And they really kind of behooved themselves there. Don't throw a flag on that. Okay, good. Me and you both, Trevor. I'm pacing like a dog. I was just like, there's like tread marks on this hardwood floor here from me. A lot of wear and tear. I'm trying to see this play. Hardman is wide the fuck open in the middle of the field. Wow. Mahomes was just locked on Watson. He was not coming off of him for nothing. Yeah, Trevor, I'd like that too. But again, like I said, the coaches, like, if they're not putting him in, there's got to be a reason. And then once he gets in, we'll know that there's a reason that he's in the game. We'll know why he's there. It's like they trust him. They have I think, I've seen him a little bit in the game more and more as the weeks have gone on. I just think that, the running back situation as currently constructed is going to stay the same till further notice because, Jones plays on special teams. I was a little shocked we didn't see some more at Reggie Gilliam this week because of, fullback and stuff, but because we had seen him the previous few weeks, but we really didn't. Does anybody? Is it just me? It's just like nobody covers these the KC receivers. Like nobody covers them. It doesn't matter. It's like where's Sky Moore? Sky Moore kind of comes in, comes out. Dude, they have a defensive tackle on him. Did you see that? Who's this number? No, it was Shaq Barrett. Sorry, not a defensive. Like, why do you have Shaq Barrett out there in space? You're paying $20 million pass rusher. Oh, there we go. They got to Mahomes. No, Eric, because I've seen enough fighters and enough boxing in my day. No more black shears in Carolina, brother. I just think it was wet out there. He took the gloves off late, Trevor, and I know this about guys. You get concussed, you get your bell rung, you get your lights shut out in close proximity. You get it shut out like that, and then it happens again in that way. They become easier. It takes less and less, and they get uglier. You know what I mean? They get uglier. And I don't know if money can look uglier than that because that was avoidable. Miami knew exactly what they were doing. I don't want them playing like, they're going to try to cover their ass and say, all the right things, if there's a right thing to say or not say. See, anytime Todd Bowles was put in a position where he was not, where he's got to oversee everything, never worked out. We saw it with the Jets. The guy is not a head coach. He's a defensive coordinator. But, guys want to, run their, protect their records, protect their investments. They want to prove themselves, and I get it. Can I say both, Mike? I can say I don't like both. Both. I'll just leave it at both. I don't like both. Both is definitely the right answer for me. I can't stand either one of them. Annoying, obnoxious. I have no clue. Maybe they felt like he's, too young or whatever. I just Todd Bowles to me is kind of that was 2014. That's, he's just not a head coach. Yeah, there's teams that can. And I'm not going to lie. I'm ready for a week for them to embarrass somebody so my nerves can relax a little bit. But, I never want to, count the chickens before they hatch. Pittsburgh's going to come in. They're going to be desperate. They won in Buffalo last year, even with Ben. Ben was not good, but he did just enough. And the Bills, again, they shot themselves in the foot and gave that game away. And so be that as it may, I want them to be ready for this week. I want, maybe Oliver gets back this week. Gabe will be a little bit healthier this week. Shakir will get a full burn, get McKenzie back. Morris came through the game okay. So, hopefully we'll be a little bit healthier and we'll see where Trey's situation is. Does he practice? Do they start ramping him up? How far is Benford away? From what I understand, his break isn't as bad as Dawson Knox's break from last year. So get him, close to being back. I don't think he'll be back. Um, maybe KC, but most likely after the bye. No, but I mean that's not hard. I mean you're talking about Bruce Coslin and Rich Kotite and those guys. So you're talking some pretty, 1 year's worth of what Al Grow. There's been lots of shitty coaches here in the tri-state area. I've seen plenty of them. Ruseo's looking good, man. He's impacted the quarterback every game of the year. Just embarrass him. Just embarrass him. Just get at him, beat him up, and frustrate him. Throw him a bunch of looks he hasn't seen. Attack him. That's it. Don't show him any respect. Miller had a sack. That's 2.5 for him. He's really throwing with a. They were, where Tampa Bay fucked up. They played Chris Godwin too soon, too fast, and then he got hurt in the first game, and he ended up hurting his hamstring. And he's been out multiple weeks now, and he's kind of their big play guy. He came off an ACL, and he got it right out. He got his ACL after Trey. Trey injured his ACL before, so I'm really glad the Bills, to this point, have been smart with Trey, and having him back in any capacity will be huge. Even I gotta believe, even when they feel like he's 100%, they're not gonna roll him out there every series. They're really gonna, just kind of ramp him up slow but sure. And Kyer is playing, man. It's just been, last 2 weeks he's been phenomenal. Nice pass by Brady and the pass interference. Yeah, they're a gritty team. Like, I'm not thinking that's it's an easy win by any means, next week, even with the rookie quarterback on the road. But, with our team, I feel like, you have to, you have to do them. You have to, go after them. My girl's texting me. She's going to bed. Sorry, guys. But you go out and treat them with like little to no respect. They have some good receivers. I mean, Deontay Johnson's is good for a big drop, a drop that could turn into an interception every week. Pickens is scary good. He's a guy I wanted for the Bills in the draft. Their offensive line is sus. I'm not really afraid of homeboy at running back doing anything big. He's kind of more of a plotter. So he really doesn't scare me. Freiermuth is a good tight end. He can make some plays. So you're coming off a few weeks now where you're playing really, really good tight ends. Oh, Godwin is in the game. Sorry about that, but still, like, he's not himself. You got, you had Gesicki. They held him down pretty good. Andrews, they held down pretty good this week. And then you have, Freiermuth. And then the week after that, you have Kelsey. So it's not like they're facing good tight ends. Yeah, Benford was great. It's a shame to have lost him. It's going to be interesting to see once they get all the pieces back. Obviously, Sans Hyde, because of his injuries, long term, how they're going to try to manage all the bodies, provided everybody's healthy. Yeah, dude, my game's on mute too. I can't listen to Chris Collinsworth. He's unlistenable. And what's sad though? His son is coming right behind him. They have his son on the Notre Dame broadcast now every Saturday. Unwatchable. They sound exactly alike. I just can't stand it. I really hope so, Mike. I really hope so. Now here's a guy, K Beats. Who's that? All right, let's see what Spagnuolo does. He's going to blitz. He always likes to blitz. Godwin's in motion. Brady just dunks it off for a quick 8. It's kind of what you got to do. They got to turn the ball. Oh, that's what he's. I just can't even listen to him. I just like every time he just makes me sick. I really can't. He is truly the definition of unlistenable. He's just elitist, pretentious, just weak old milk establishment. Kind of like the CBS guys. It's Boomer, it's Cower, it's Sims, and you got all these old crusty guys. You know, whoa, who's the number? Did they have the fullback? Or that guy looks like a fullback. I thought they brought fucking Mike Allstott out of the fucking back there for a second, but I was like, okay, he's 41, but still. No, it's like they like fan media. It's because they want to be talked to like people and not idiots. You know, people want to be talked to like people and not idiots. Obviously, Tampa Bay needs to score a touchdown here. Anything less than 7 just will not do. Oh, where's the flag? Huge flag from Thornhill. You know he was getting a defenseless receiver. Oh God, he's got. Yeah, then that's on Fox. You got Bradshaw, you got Long, Jimmy. You just again crusty, and then you got now this guy I used to like a little bit. Now Glazer makes me sick. He's peddling his mental health. I'm like, dude, you were a little rich boy from Bergen County, all right, whose mommy and daddy was friends with the right people. And what you did was valet a bunch of drunk giants around, and Michael Strahan befriended you and made you his bosom buddy. You had a bunch of corny fights, MMA fights down the shore back in the mid 90s. MMA fights, like mid 90s, and then you got a hold of the Spygate tape. And you sit on information, like you players tell you things and you don't blab. Is Godwin down? Oh shit. That sucks. I mean, they were on there with the JJ. You know what? I like that JJ Watt came out and announced it before anybody else did today. He's like, and he was gonna play a game. Imagine a player like that. Yeah, somebody's gonna leak shit about me today. I think they're a solid team. You know, they went on the road. They played in rough conditions like the Bills did, and they had a chance to win that game. They didn't get blown out by the Eagles. And they got some good young players. I mean, their quarterback, he's young and he's good, and he could throw. So, and they have those edge guys. I mean, they gave the Bills hell last year. I can only imagine now with Trevon Walker, because he's a load and he can move. I don't care about the sack numbers. That guy is going to make your life a living hell up there. From between the hashes and the sidelines, I don't care. Nah, I'm not sure. Corners are more valuable than safeties, but in this defense, might not be true. So we'll see. Again, it's a little too early to tell with that, Mike. I think they've been getting a lot of credit, Bowman. I think a lot of people have been praising them. They're 3-1, and their 3-1 is just as good as the Bills' 3-1. Just like the Giants, the Dolphins. I mean, your 3 and anybody's 3-1 is just as good. Yeah, because he announced it. He said, "Oh yeah, I had my heart shocked back in the rhythm." I'm good. I mean, as long as the guy can pass there's a test, a rhythm, out. There's I forgot the name of the test, but my grandmother used to have mammogram, not a mammogram. That's for pregnancy. Um, there's like so there's a gram at the end, to make sure your heart is, there's no skips, there's no irregularities and stuff like that, like bad ones. These guys are big. They have testosterone out the gills. The way they're wired. Oh shit! What happened? You holding his hip? He's on the sideline. He said he walked off. I would not have that guy playing in close quarters. Looks like they're. I'm not sure of the name, Mike. It's an anagram. It might be. It might be. Second and goal. They are heavy. I bet you he's gonna throw it up to fucking Evans. Yup. I knew that. I was like, he's gonna throw it. He's gonna lob it up to Evans because they're gonna go on fourth anyway. How about them Broncos? Let's ride. Oh, what a clown. Nate Hackett. Oh, fucking Russell Wilson. Like acting like a aw shucks, gee golly, like yeehaw coming in the door. Like that dude is so in over his head. It's not even funny. Let's see. They're really in heavy now. They're probably just going to try to run it in, and they got it. Touchdown. They needed a touchdown. There's no way in hell they could have settled for 3. I wouldn't go for 2 this early. They have to turn Mahomes over, though, at least once. He's not a head coach. To me, he's not even an OC. Anywhere he's been an OC, he's bombed or he's been carried. Carried by a great quarterback or an offensive head coach, Green Bay. Like you're the OC there. Joe Philbin, wasn't he the OC or something like that? How'd that work? Yeah, he called the plays. He still called the plays. Okay. Let's see if Tampa can stop shooting themselves in the foot. I know it's damn near impossible, but we'll find out. Ooh, that felt good. Did you guys hear that? Not even the fourth quarter yet. Wow. It's a decent game. I just didn't want it to be. I mean, it still smirks. It could be a blowout. I mean, Tampa Bay's got to get the ball back and score, but hopefully that'll make it a tighter game than what it is now. Because right now it's kind of like, I need to see the splits of this game. Full splits. They don't have the damn it. They don't have the splits for this game. Fuck. They have the Miami split. They don't have the splits for this one. Because the first and second quarter splits would have been great to see. Yeah, he's like, what a terrible kid. It's almost like they do this shit on purpose. It's like the last thing you do, right? The last thing you do. Oh my God. Like you have what a football field's what? 52 and a half yards wide, 53 and a half yards wide. And yeah, he's a vestige of Marone. He's terrible. Like he's the village idiot. Again, the national the nepotism football league, his daddy or his grand, it was Paul Hackett. So yep, Got to give Sonny Boy the job. Got to make sure Sonny Boy is, he's still, the bloodlines live on. Sucks. Oh, okay. Matt Nagy is he's the quarterback whisperer. Oh shit. The QB whisperer. Oh, they're going to go to the fourth quarter. They're not going to run another play. All right, guys. I appreciate you to death. It's almost 11 o'clock. I'm going to let you guys enjoy the fourth quarter in peace without my blabbing. Thank you so much. What a, great outcome today. Ended up being a great game. Definitely going to have a great week. Nepotism Football League, Matt. It is Nepotism Football League. Friends and what's up, Matt? How you doing, bro? Yeah, Friends with Benefits League. Friends and family. They've got to keep it in the family. And the second you start playing that game, you know what? That's just, you see what happens. Oh, this guy is related to this guy. So I'll bring the whole crew. Bring them all. Just like McDaniel did the first time in Denver, and brought all his boys from John Carroll. Bring all the Jesuit boys out to Denver. Come on, we're gonna have ourselves a party. What's up, Bill's Boot Camp? How you doing, bro? You too, Midnight. Good night, bro. But it was a great win. It was an all hands on deck kind of win. Every guy contributed. And it's really great that. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, man. You contribute a lot in the room. Appreciate it. All you guys do. Trevor, Midnight's been here for a long time. Let me do the right thing here. Where's Jake? You still here, buddy? Got everybody I'm trying to find my guys. I need as many of you dudes as where's Steve at? Damn it, Jake. Where the fuck you at, brother? I'm trying to find you. Type something in the room if you're still listening. KB's been here for a minute. Yo, what's up, Chris? How you doing, bro? Oh, there you are, Steve. I was wondering if I'll find him in the chat. Like, see, he was early on. I know he does work and he kind of drifts in and out. Oh, there he is. But I found him. Yeah, it was a good a great win. We had a bunch of guys step up. Shakir, the list goes on. Singletary rebounded. Dawson reemerged, made some plays on some big catches. Josh was Josh, the kind of Josh we expect, to just, find a way, and he found a way. And it was a really, it was really nip and tuck there because they had no margin for error. When you're down by that many points, as we know, it's just, there's no margin for error. But they forced Tampa Bay into it. Fucking Tampa Bay, Baltimore into a few mistakes, and finally capitalized on the biggest one, which was late. Hopefully we get some guys healthier. Got to find out about some guys that got dinged up during the game, but hopefully able to get some bodies back coming into a game against Pittsburgh. You got but hats off to Prince Emili, hats off to Brandon Bryant, guys that have stepped in and played these last 2-3 weeks and have just been amazing. So love you all. Go Bills. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the views. 2 hours with me. Appreciate every last one of you. You guys, you being here, talking your ass off, correcting my stupid self a lot of the time. Me looking like a caveman, but all right. Go Bills. Peace. You guys are going to have a great evening. Great start to your week. Doesn't it feel good to just lay our head on a pillow after a Bills victory? Just even the sleep is better. The air breathe is better. Love you guys. Go Bills.